I'm pretty sure all of you, in some way or the other, have been seeing this buzzword, the recent buzzword. We also saw it in Nathan's presentation earlier with respect to generative AI. So today we will be also seeing a little bit more information on this. As a part of our innovation keynote, we actually have a subject matter expert who will be talking in more detail on this topic, giving us some insights on not just the cool things that we can do, but also the challenges that we might have to consider. Basically, we have somebody from the KI.NRW, which is part of the Fraunhofer family, technically. If I may already bring you on stage, Christian, he will be taking us through the challenges and the opportunities that AI presents. So I give the stage to you. I'm pretty sure everybody's excited about it. So big round of applause, and we get started.
Yeah, thank you so much for your kind words. First of all, I'm very delighted being here. I think we met someone last year at an event with NRW Bank in Düsseldorf and came into talking, and I'm usually very, very excited hearing about fantastic companies coming out of NRW. Yeah, so that was when I was excited about Oculavis, obviously. And then I was invited to this talk, and as small as the world is, I just saw that Mr. Hoppe was part of the Service Meister project, and I actually got an email from the project lead from Service Meister today, how we could further collaborate. So I'm very happy that also companies that many people might not know in public actually cherish the chances of AI. Now I want to talk about ChatGPT. Yeah, so it's more or less a one-year anniversary of this hot topic. Yeah, and in the past days, and I'm not sure if that was orchestrated or not, some of you guys might have followed it, Sam Altman was thrown out of the board. Then the guy from Microsoft said, yeah, we will hire him. Yeah, then all coming back, and now he returns to OpenAI. These guys are very good in communication and doing marketing. They're obviously very good also when they create technology, and I think this is also what we want to talk about. But we also want to talk about things that you can do with AI without talking about generative AI. There's a lot of things that you can do. Yeah, there's opportunities which are already in place and that don't need these fantastic buzzwords. So let me just briefly start, and this is why I usually take this through, is with a brief definition of AI, and it's almost 70 years old. It's from Professor John McCarthy, and he said, the Dartmouth workshop, artificial intelligence is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. So we, humans, make intelligent machines for some purpose intelligent. That, for example, to things like a computer winning chess against the best chess player in the world. That was 1997. I played chess in my youth. I'm not sure who of you guys played chess or still playing chess. I would never be in any capacity to win against any computer, but that was very, very exciting because people were saying there's so many complexity in this game and so much different possibilities you could do. It needs human brain to win. And then they put a lot of databases in there and a lot of computing power, and then Deep Blue was able to win against Garry Kasparov. And then a lot of time passed and nothing happened, and that was just a specific example. But then 15 years later, we found some solution to combine world knowledge and language. So IBM Watson won against the best players in Jeopardy, and Jeopardy is one of those games where you get an answer, and you need to formulate the correct question to this answer. So what was the specific thing about this? You need to have a database in place who can somehow cover world knowledge, and you need to somehow give the computer ability to understand and formulate language and speech. So 15 years later, a lot of people were very excited. And then we got one professor here from NRW, and he said publicly in a YouTube video while recording one of his lectures in 2015, and there was one of those strategic games, Go, in Asia, and a computer will never be able to win. Never, never, never be able to win against a human. And then Google came into play in 2016. AlphaGo beats the best professional Go player in Go. And Go, if you don't know this game, this is basically a 19x19 field with white and black dots. It's tons of different combination possibilities, so basically hardly to compute. And this was basically coming very slowly, shortly after the IBM Watson thing. And what was really exciting was not that it happened that the computer won against the best Go player. The most exciting thing was end of 2017, beginning of 2018, when they developed a system, AlphaGo Zero, which basically only learned the rules of Go. They let two AlphaGo Zero systems play against each other for 24 hours. And then the system taught himself strategies to play and won against AlphaGo 100-0. And that was the moment where people were saying, wow, artificial intelligence, this is getting real human intelligence, creative, strategic thinking. So that was 2018. Yeah? And we talk about this buzz of ChatGPT. A computer that can create language, can create text, is already in place since 3 years. So GPT-3 was already very, very capable of writing source code, but also text, summarized text, etc. But the real introduction into like our life was with ChatGPT, and that especially because it was so convenient to use it. And now what we see is it gets all faster and faster and faster. And I was very impressed when Nathan were talking about I used Whisper, I used ChatGPT, etc. So a lot of things that you can easily prototype, and it's fantastic what the results are coming out. Now, what the future will bring, nobody knows. What I'm pretty sure about is AI is here to stay. Yeah? So whatever we do, we need to think about, okay, this is there, and now how can we cherish what we see there? Now, usually I add now a personal anecdote. And I add a personal anecdote. I'm here now in Aachen. I live in Cologne. So Corona is a bit out of sight now. 3 years back, my 2-year-old daughter in Carnival took my iPad, pushed the button and said, Siri, spiel Lied Kaffeeboot, which basically says, play the song Kaffeeboot. And Siri played the song Kaffeeboot from Blackfist 5 seconds later. So for her, 3 years ago, AI was there, speech recognition was there. She was talking to machines. Now this is what we do on a weekend. Yeah? So she has a dream of having a room which automatically, magically tidies itself. Yeah? So I just told ChatGPT DALL-E 3, create me a picture of a room which is magically tidying up itself. That's the result. Yeah? Or we have 2 cats. One cat has actually a white fleck, whatever. And we said, okay, can you create a cat with a white flag in front of a house with a dancing penguin, because the penguins are quite familiar. So she's not only using, but we are also creating already with generative AI images. She's 4.5, by the way. Yeah? And so it is here to stay. Now the question is, if it's here to stay, how do we handle it and how we use it for our best? And there's always one thing I would like to add in those presentations is large language models predict the next word, and they are not built to be knowledge models. Yeah, so what is very fantastic about these models is that they can create tremendously great language, tremendously great text, tremendously greatly summarized text, but they have never been created to have some kind of inherent knowledge. So it basically learns probabilities which word comes next. That example looks a bit small. Yeah, it just shall tell you, okay, it's, if you have the bank, it can be the bank lends. So the bank lends money. It could also be the bank is there that I can sit on it because I'm so tired. Why does it tend to predict the next word lend? Is because in some previous sentences it said the interest rate is something like XYZ. So the interest rate, 3, 4, 5 sentences back, can be used in the context of these large language models to predict the next word. And when you think about how many texts these models can use, they can basically use the GPT-4 version, roughly 60 pages of text. With the GPT-4 Turbo version, it's 300 pages of text that they can use simultaneously as a context to create follow-up text out of it. So that is what's possible. And to be able to do so, they basically scrape the whole internet, Wikipedia, all different kinds of where the source code is, stack it, etc. And they basically used all of this to train those models. Now, there's one secret component which makes ChatGPT very, very, very nice to us, and that is us. We basically taught ChatGPT to be so eloquent, so nice to us? Because they used 4 different outputs, and then they had millions of times us rating what is the best output we liked. And with this, that's what's called reinforcement learning by human feedback. They taught the model not only to generate and predict the next word, but also generate the next word which our test users like the most. Yeah? And this is where we make those things more intelligent. Now, there's one thing which I am very, very, very excited about. Some people makes it a bit scary, is those language models. So if you have a traditional machine learning AI algorithm, you say, okay, I would like to have a classification of what's on that picture. So you take a picture and then you have some kind of label, and then you say, okay, dear AI algorithm, classify me for this. So you have a specific task and you train that model for that specific task. These large language models, yeah, with more than 100 billion, 500 billion parameters, they can do things that they have never been explicitly trained for. They can summarize text without that anybody told them how to summarize a text. But they have basically seen so many examples of text summaries that they, if you put in summarize this text for me, they have whatever kind of understanding, and I'm not saying how intelligence, understanding of what I want from them. If I say to them, write me this code, they've seen so many different lines of codes in GitHub, etc., that they write me code. And nobody told them how to write code. That makes us a bit excited, and that makes a lot of people a bit scared about how intelligent are those machines. And my standard answer to this, I personally do not care. Because it is not the question of how intelligent, like is it intelligent or not, the key question is how much can these things do, these models do, what can they do and what can't they do. Yeah? And we need to distinguish what do we want to have as positive use and what we don't want to have. And who of you knows the movie Apollo 13? So this is basically where this rocket, they want to have this moon mission, and then after they basically started, the oxygen tanks blow up. Yeah? And then they need to improvise a new mission. And then this is basically the situation where they sit and ask the guys, okay, how can we bring this ship back? And then what they need is another burn from this here, Triebwerk, from a engine. And then they say, okay, let's ask the Grumman guys. Yeah? And then they say, oh, it was not designed for another burn. Yeah? And then Gene Kranz says, the flight director, I don't care what anything was designed to do, I only care what it can do. And I think whatever you guys also think in your specific areas, I think the key question is where can AI help us with it, what it can do, now, not what it was designed to. And why is that important? Because the ability of AI is increasing with tremendous speed. So if you have a look at these pictures, this is all Midjourney, one of those image generating technologies. And this is basically the prompt that they used. And they always use the same prompt in different time points in the year 22 and 23. So it says, an old man walking in Berlin during winter, and I'm not fully reading it out. And on the first picture, you see something like, an old man, but it's a bit blurry. Yeah, the proportions are somehow weak. Yeah. It gets better. Yeah, it's April. It's 1 month later. Yeah, it gets way better when you look into the next picture. Then in July, it's already quite nice. And when you compare this March to 23, you could see this is a complete different way of how this looks. Yeah, and what's then actually possible? I think Nathan was just tremendously showing the Whisper when it came out. Yeah, this the ChatGPT, now you can talk to it, etc. So it's like a tremendous speed that is coming. So that all gives us the question, what can we do? And I have my key hypothesis is the AI prompting game was just the beginning. Now everybody needs to be an AI prompter, needs to understand how to create images with Midjourney, etc. Yeah, you're in service operation, etc. Nobody wants to do prompting. Nobody wants to have some that's tested out, etc. Yeah, so I think there is a lot of things where automated AI agents and systems will work together, yeah, and create those things that Nathan was just showing. Yeah, so you will just have tons of AI agents working together, and then basically they will help you to find the right answer from your database. Maybe they would even propose the right text, put it into some kind of virtual avatar, and let it speak. Yeah? And that is something which I personally see is already beginning, and that is going to be coming in 1, 2, 3 years in a very large performance. Now, so we can see this is very, very, very fastly developing, and we were talking about challenges, and challenges is one of the things that we need to be very well aware of. And from the challenges is one that an AI system learns differently than a human. So if I would ask you what is on that picture, you would surely say this is a horse with the rider on it, etc. When you ask an AI system, it would also classify this as a horse. And then you can check, what were the aspects of that image who brought you to this conclusion. And the redder it gets, the more the part of the picture was giving the hint to that conclusion. And now we look here, and from all what we see on the picture, there is no horse on the left bottom corner. What we see is there is a signature, a white signature of that image. And unfortunately, a lot of those pictures who were labeled horse had a white signature on the bottom left corner. So for the AI system, it's very clear if this is the case, horse. It can be a monkey, a donkey. It could also be a unicorn if it would exist, but my daughter believes it exists. So, and why I'm saying this is how it would look like if the data was accurate. And you guys were talking about data already. So if you take good training data, then it would see, okay, here is some parts of the horse which I need to understand to recognize as a horse, etc. And this is what we all need to keep in mind, that AI systems and the performance and the reliability very much depends on the data that we feed in. And another example, we were talking ChatGPT. This is Schloss Bierlinghofen. This is the place where I do not work. I do work somewhere like, let's say, 200 meters left, in some of these functional 70, 60 years building, no AC. Still nice, but this is a campus. This is our advertisement picture for hiring people. Now, if you... did I say that publicly? Sorry. So, if you ask ChatGPT, okay, tell me something about the history of this castle, it gives you this. It says something like, Schloss Bierlinghofen is a castle located in St. Augustin, North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany. That is true. It has a long and varied history, which can be summarized as follows. And then the whole rest is wrong. All wrong. Now, that is also part of what we've done to ChatGPT. We've told him if we like eloquent stories, if you want to have a story, then tell me something about it, and then it grabbed out some fake figures. Now, that was not the big problem. Everybody knows about hallucination of Gen AI models and that certain things are not correct. The key problem for me was, where do I find the right truth? So I checked Wikipedia. A small article, it said, okay, it was finalized in 1903. And I found some place from the Fraunhofer Society, and which also said, okay, it's somehow 1903. Two sources which I could somehow trust to tell me what is correct and what's not correct. Now, think about other items where we don't have this kind of grounding and truth, or when we need to have reliable information. So, do I need to open this valve or this valve? This one opens hot steam and kills you, and this one is good for manufacturing. So you should rather have the right answer. And this is why those AI models currently really still need a lot of human control to deliver correct results. Now, we have challenges, but we want to talk about opportunities. And we were talking also about field service and a lot of people not so well trained, a lot of people not even coming to you guys to work. And I think the question is, how can we support these guys to make all these things better and to also use AI technologies to support their daily working. And here I'm just putting up some slide on the public sector. I've learned yesterday, no, the day before yesterday, that in our here agency, Agentur für Arbeit, like the job agency in Germany, in the next 5 years they are losing 40% of their employees because of here going to Rente, retirement. And I'm pretty convinced they will not get those people back. Yeah. So what can these guys do to make their lives better? So this is where I'm pretty convinced AI is here to help. Now, for example, you have automating customer service across all channels. There's tons of people who already start having, you did a prototype, right? But basically this is interact directly within the system. There's tons of companies already using AI technologies to transcript already what's coming in, looking for simple cases in databases, creating text answers, and solving 60, 70, 80% of easy customer service requests with basically automated AI technologies. And this is Ultimate AI, but there's also Evo Center. There is different other players from NRW. And you could also think about, okay, can at least those people help me in your environment to filter out easy requests, yeah, before I really need to dive and have a separate call and really look into it. Another thing is, and that's one of those things, no generative AI, and AI is here to help, and I really like this one, is use it for efficient building operations. Yeah, so there is, this is an example, Phoenix Contact, basically hidden champion from Blomberg. They have a sensor every square meter in their building, and they're partnering up with a startup in Cologne, which is called Edifion, and they basically delivered an AI stereo control system to reduce the operational cost for energy consumption by up to 20%. Yeah, because they understand how many people are in a meeting room, what's the weather conditions, yeah, how can we optimize this. And talking about resource, like energy resources, still very, very, very costly. Yeah, so having some means of reducing this obviously helps us. And another nice example is using digital twins. Also a great example from NRW. There is a company called WK. They are located in Sendenhorst, and they produce plastic profiles for windows, for example. Now, when they have a new line they want to produce, they adjust the machines a bit, and then they have one of those items constructed, and then look at it and say, still not perfect, yeah, and then they do it again and again and again and re-optimize the machine configuration. So there is another company in Dortmund, Jano Simulation. They build basically a digital twin of those machines, yeah, and then they use those digital twin with simulation technologies to simulate what happens if they produce those plastic profiles with that machine. So no PVC, nothing produced, but it's all in a computer, and then they use some kind of AI technology to optimize how the machinery should be looking like. And they do not need 12 reworking loops anymore. They can do it with way less effort. And I think this is also a very nice example how AI can help also with digital twins in the industry context, where a lot of these things are, okay, you have an idea, you need to build it, and then you need to test it, and then you need to rebuild it, and to test it, and to rebuild it, and to gain way more speed and speed to market. And another one is, it's actually an example from Aachen, from the WZL, where they use AI technology to steer basically the supply of machines with cooling lubricants, but also air, etc. Because if it gets too hot, if it gets too less, etc., so the quality of the products diminishes, and that is obviously nothing that you want. Yeah, and basically they have a lot of sensors looking into, okay, how hot is it and how much is there, and then they basically can use this, yeah, to optimize their machine production. And one of the things, and you guys were talking, Marcus, you were talking about integration into Microsoft. Yeah, one of those things is that we all will have tons of these AI agents, yeah, being part of our day-to-day working systems. So the Copilot will be coming, yeah, so you can create emails, yeah, so basically this email is now about I cannot do my presentation today, so I need somebody else, yeah. But you could think about creating presentations, what's in the Excel sheet, etc. And that could also be something using this in service. Yeah, so create me an outline of the 10 steps that need to be done. Needs to be a bit more sophisticated than this one, but yeah, that is one of the things that will be coming, and that will affect all of us. Yeah, everybody will have access to those technologies. The only thing I hope is that we don't use it to write even more emails, which then an AI system reads, and I let it summarize, yeah, and then I send back a 80 pages presentation just for the sake of keep the ball flowing, right? Sorry. I really love that because I've seen people trying around and sending me quite some miserable stuff. So 3 more slides, and it's basically what we think about applying AI. And I love that example that you gave us, anonymization. Yeah, you have a running tool. Yeah, there's a problem. Okay, there is people. So there's one specific problem. You have a running problem process. Yeah, you just need to anonymize those people. Now, so you solve one exact concrete problem. You can tell what you are looking into. So if there's anything that you like to start with AI, think about use cases that you can describe easily, and there you can have a measurable impact. Yeah, because a lot of people, especially now with Gen AI, want to completely revolve the world. Yeah, and that's not going to happen because it is, if you cannot solve it, if you don't understand the processes by yourself, Gen AI will not solve it for you. Yeah, so be pragmatic, be easy. And what I think is really very important is AI is a team sport. A lot of these things only work and create value when the people working with it, the guys you were talking to, that they understand what's happening and where AI supports this. When the works council, the Betriebsrat understands, okay, the anonymization works. So whatever you guys do, it is all important. At the end, it counts that the people who work with it understand what they do and they see the value. And especially think customer-centric. Ideally, the customer sees the value in what you do. Just put it in some Gen AI included and they see no value. It's great for marketing, but will not increase your trust with your customers. And one of my favorite slides is this one. And a lot of people were forgetting about this one when the Gen AI game came up because ChatGPT knows everything. It is trained with all the data we have in the internet, etc. So why should we care about data? Because what's in the internet is not your data. It's not the data that is happening in the processes. It's not the data that you guys collect in your systems. It's not the understanding of the processes. And this is so important to have a good repository of good data that you can solve with the right data, the right problems. And if you don't have the right data, you can have whatever Gen AI. At the end, a lot of things that you guys do in your companies, it's just not part of the internet. And it will never be. It should never be, because it's proprietary information, it's somehow copyright protected, etc. But you will need this to have the right information at hand to, for example, solve a technical service problem. And this is very important. And this is also why I liked your approach. Okay, and then we can collect the data and see what we can do afterwards with it. Because that's exactly it. It takes time to collect the right data and then do something with it. And that leads me to last slide a bit about us. So whenever you guys want to talk about AI, we are basically the first contact person in North Rhine-Westphalia to support your AI journey. You can contact us anytime. We have specific offerings for looking into publications on different topics, but especially we have some consultative offerings like the AI consulting hours, but also workshop formats where we can really look into AI use cases. So whenever you guys have any questions, you can contact us. And saving you guys some time, I thank you very much for your attention. If you would like to follow me, or I post a lot on what's happening in NRW on AI topics, you can just follow me on LinkedIn. And with that, thank you everybody for your attention and have a great conference ahead.
A big loud applause. Thank you so much. That was really insightful. Thanks a lot. I just have actually one question, which I think also brings into context something we heard earlier today. So you are a consulting company, which is more or less supporting a lot of the companies here in the region. Do you also work in congruence with some funded projects? Or, I mean, what is the easiest way that they can get support in terms of funding to receive your support, basically?
So first of all, we are basically funded by ourselves. So the government in North Rhine-Westphalia pays us. So basically, we are funded already. We have basically, which is called KI.NRW flagship projects, where there's separately funded projects which we somehow have under our umbrella to really support them and to bring them forward. And whenever anybody has an idea of what he would like to think about it as a project, it is, as Mr. Hoppe said, tell us, and if you know somebody else who wants to give some money to people, we have you in mind and can help you to bring you into these consortia.
Okay, so I guess the key message is, network, I guess. I see that you're doing a lot of activity on LinkedIn. I'm also following him since I basically had to look him up. And I would say then reach out to them. And thanks a lot for the keynote and very interesting topic today. So give a loud round of applause for Dr. Christian.
Thank you.
Thank you.